We're coming to you live. This is a special report from the Human Error News Network. We're the ones who investigate the failures that everyone else just blames on people, because we know the real story. It's always in the system. And our top story tonight, a critical failure with a culprit you will not expect. You know this feeling, don't you? That horrible, sinking pit in your stomach when you hear the news. A critical sample is gone. A patient's result is delayed, or maybe even worse, it's wrong. And the first question that riffs through the lab is always the same. Who messed this up?
Your gut, your training, everything tells you to find the person responsible. But what if I told you that looking for a person is a complete waste of your time? What if the real culprit isn't a person at all, but that piece of paper in their hand?
So tonight, we are going to dissect a failure. We're going to put it right under the microscope. But we're not looking at a person. Oh no, we're examining the environment, the tools, and the process that made that failure pretty much inevitable.
See, every single time something goes wrong, you're standing at a crossroads. Down one path, you've got blame. Down the other, you've got learning. And what our investigations show, time and time again, is that you simply cannot walk both paths at once.
Let's just break that down, right? The blame game is all about finding a scapegoat. It asks who failed. And you know what that leads to? Fear. It creates a culture where people hide their mistakes. The learning path, on the other hand, asks a much better question. Why did it fail? That path leads to actual improvement. And, get this, it helps prevent the next error from ever happening. So, if we're not blaming the person, where do we point our investigation? Well, our evidence leads us to one primary suspect, one that's hiding in plain sight in labs all over the world. I'm talking about the paper-based tracking system.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your lab is a high-stakes, high-pressure environment where every little detail matters. So running it on handwritten logbooks and paper forms, it's kind of absurd. It's like trying to run air traffic control for a major airport using nothing but a pad of sticky notes. It's not a question of if a disaster will happen, it's just a matter of when.
And the risks that come with paper, they're not hypotheticals. We've all seen them. You've got the inaccurate data entry, the handwriting that nobody can read, the complete lack of a real-time audit trail. It makes collaboration a nightmare, and when the auditors show up, it's a compliance catastrophe just waiting to unfold. Not to mention records that just get lost.
Okay, so if paper is the problem, what's the solution? We have to upgrade. We have to move from a system that's basically designed to fail to one that is built for safety. And that, my friends, means going digital. The answer is something called a Laboratory Information System, or an LIS. Now, this isn't just another piece of software you have to learn. I want you to think of it as the new digital nervous system for your entire lab. It connects every sample, every test, every person into one smart, cohesive unit. So how does it build that safety net? Well, it's actually pretty simple. First, it digitizes and, more importantly, standardizes your workflows. Everybody does it the same way. Second, it centralizes all your data, creating one single source of truth. Third, it automates sample tracking from the second it arrives to the moment it's archived. And finally, it makes reporting and compliance a click of a button, not a week-long paper chase. But the impact, it goes way beyond just the data. When you put a system like this in place, it fundamentally changes how your team works. It builds an environment based on traceability, trust, and real teamwork.
Think about the reality in any high-volume diagnostic lab. They're not dealing with 10 or 20 samples a day. They are processing thousands every single day. At that kind of scale, being able to trace every sample at every step of the way, that isn't some luxury. It's an absolute necessity.
And the difference is, well, it's night and day. Let's just look at the facts. With a manual process, your sample tracking is a mess, and your error rate is through the roof. With an LIS, it's automated and in real time. The risk of error plummets, your audit trail is instant and detailed. Compliance goes from a headache to streamlined. The evidence here is absolutely conclusive.
So all of this brings us to a new mandate. It's a complete shift in how you think. It's about moving away from punishing people and moving towards perfecting your process. And this right here is the most crucial takeaway. An error is not a personal failure. It's not a black mark. It is a bright, flashing signal. It is a data point that is telling you exactly where your system is weak and where it needs to be fixed.
From now on, your post-error investigation should look like this. Maybe 10% of your energy goes to understanding what the person did, but the other 90%, the overwhelming majority, has to be spent dissecting the system's weaknesses that allowed that error to happen in the first place.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. The next time that sample goes missing, the next time that result is delayed, when the pressure is on and everybody is screaming for an answer, where are you going to look first? At the person standing there or at the process that let them down?
This has been a special report from the Human Error News Network. We don't just report on failure, we learn from it. Thanks for joining us.